Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel, and today we have a very exciting and also tricky alliance war against New Nation, who are obviously one of the stronger alliance war alliances in the game. And yeah, from the get-go we knew it's going to be incredibly hard war. Battle for the top threes still continuing. I think every single alliance thus far have already lost a war, so it's kind of all up in there this season, which makes it ever so more interesting, and which makes this war ever so more stressful, especially because in this war my officer actually tried to murder me in cold blood. Right, we're gonna get to that when we get to it in the actual fights, but let's just jump right here on pre-recorded gameplay bit. So this is War 7 of Season 24. We are currently on the record of 5-1 going into this war, so we lost once already to Kenobi. Quite close war, but still, unfortunately we came up short. And yeah, so this was very important, and it was extremely stressful. Right, so let's get to it. So in section 1, I was on path 6. Now, I did the same path, I think, in the last war, and I faced Dr. Doom there once more, but I actually brought in Quake that time. And the reason I did that is because I mixed up the nodes and I forgot that it is Aggression Fury node. And it worked out for me, but obviously it is always somewhat risky to let those Furies build up. So I'm gonna boost up properly for every single fight in this war. Basically, boosts are, well, a definite max at this point in the war, because again, you do not want to be that guy who gave away a death because you didn't boost hard enough. Especially because I am trying to go deathless this season. So far I have been successful in not giving away any attack bonuses and not getting KO'd. And if I manage to go deathless this entire season, that would be second consecutive season I do that. I think it's actually, if you purely count the last time I died, it has been pretty much 2 full war seasons already, but obviously I am well interested in extending that streak. Right, so Doctor Doom, Aggression Prowess, and Magic. Right, so I'm gonna use my Power Start 1 boost just to give myself the maximum advantage in this fight. I want to get to my level 2 before he even has a chance to drop a special attack. So that's why you do want to cut your combo short and leave him just below 1 bar of power, and then push yourself past 2 bars in your following combo, and in that way he basically never gets a chance to use a special attack. And right here, yeah, Magic already has pretty much taken the control of the fight. You can see that power lock's applied. I have plenty of power to keep this cycle going. I'm not playing too aggressive. I am weaving in some parries just to play extra safe. Again, war, in my personal opinion, is all about giving yourself the maximum possible advantage and playing in a matter that gives you the least chance of messing up, the least chance of dying. Therefore, in war, I always play much more cautiously than I possibly would in Alliance Quest, or than I possibly would generally just questing, because the stakes are much higher. And again, it's not about having the perfect fight, it's about having a fight that gives you the least amount of chance of getting KO'd. Obviously, choosing right matchups is a very big part of it, and my alliance leaders and officers are doing a fantastic job of it for most part. And typically, I'd say almost never you get sent in any fights where your likelihood of not succeeding is high. So they do very good job planning out these fights. However, today was one of those rare instances where my alliance, well, my battle group officer plans alliance war attack. He actually was on KT time as well a couple of weeks ago. It was a very interesting episode. But yeah, he basically sent me straight to extremely difficult fight. That fight in itself could have gotten me KO'd had I gotten slightly unlucky. The fight was extremely long, gruesome and hard. And no matter how well I played it, there was still a chance that I'm gonna time out in it if I had gotten unlucky. So this next fight here was very simple. It was Colossus against Warlock. Not much to stress then. I could have used Quake or Magic. Either one of the champions would have been fine. Just brought in Warlock just because I thought it would be fairly quick and painless. So now we're going to move on to the next one. And next one is Kingpin. And this one, I think I'm going to speed up. It's not perfect fight by any means. I actually mess up several times because obviously Kingpin is extremely tanky. And Quake does a great job against him, but it takes a while. And we can see that I will mess up a few times here. And now my first objective was to get that Promise buff active on me before Power Snuck resets. Now in ideal world, I would be set. I'd be making no mistakes and I'd just get him down. But here I get hit, so that's first annoying, but not a big deal. And we can see that this fight's going to take quite a while. So I am going to speed up for most of it. But you can see an error quite soon pop up when I'm gonna accidentally let my heavy go and push him past the bar of power. And yeah, at this point I'm already in a tricky situation because I need him to throw that level 1 before I can go back to quaking. Because if that connects, I'm probably dead. Right, so I successfully baited out the level 1 and I can carry on fighting, but unfortunately I make another mistake. I was quite stressed. I was doing these fights straight after a stream with my girlfriend waiting for me to come to bed, and I was obviously stressed over the war, I suppose. I have been making somewhat more mistakes with Quake than normal. However, on the bright side, I do have enough experience using Quake to kind of play out of these situations, and well, luckily, I actually haven't died yet this season, as I said, and that includes Quake fights. So they have definitely been tricky, they have definitely been close calls, but I have performed just about well enough to finish these fights out. And here we can see that the fight's long, the fight's very long. It lasts up until like 1 minute 22-second mark, so it actually lasted like 3 minutes and 40 seconds. So that's a very long Quake fight for Alliance War standards. But that was it for that, and I didn't die, I got the job done, and the next fights are waiting for me in the morning once I wake up. So this is already the following morning, and this is the fight that is quite explicitly, I think, a Quake trap. Because of force of will, you actually do not stop Face Me from activating, and well, the Immortal Hulk just heals up 70% of the damage that I do to him. Now, luckily, I did have Despair max. That was the first saving grace in this fight. And maxing out Despair means that I can mitigate some of his regen, which obviously is extremely important. We can see that it's going to be a long fight. Now, the thing that actually saves me in this fight is the Crumbling Armor node and the fact that I have Willpower on, because I consistently heal. Because I will once again make quite a lot of mistakes. I can attribute that to stress or realizing what is happening in this fight. Consistently watching clock, but again, it's not a good Quake fight at all. But anyway. Right, so he's going down slowly but surely. I am going to make some mistakes, partially due to kinetic transference, because I get in some hits in my block. And here you can see I push him past the bar of power again, and I'm gonna get hit here with like a full combo. But thanks to Crumbling Armor, I consistently can recover my health. Right, but here comes the critical bit here. Because Gladiator Hulk actually has a quite potent regen when either of the champions hit 20%. Basically, it's either regen or fury. And we can see that he triggered his fury, and that was my saving grace. Because had he triggered that regen and had he regenerated significant amount of the damage that I dealt, I would have timed out. This fight again took like 3 minutes and 40 seconds. I only had like a minute and something left to work with. And had he triggered the regen there, I would have timed out. This fight's definitely not meant for Quake, if you see Gladiator Hulk here. And it was a definite Quake trap, that we as an alliance fell in, because typically I have quaked Gladiator Hulk and I hadn't had much problem, but because his ability accuracy couldn't be reduced, it was a very, very clever placement. And yeah, it nearly got me, man. My fingers were hurting at this point. I had 2 quake fights that lasted like nearly 4 minutes each, and that's a lot for Alliance War. And yeah, it was a very, very stressful time. Luckily, though, luckily, I persevered, I pushed through, and I didn't die. So, such a huge relief, especially because this war is extremely close. Any death matters, and the war was always likely to be decided by like 1 death or something. I definitely didn't want to break my uh, deathless streak in this war. I never want to break it, but especially in wars like this. Next up is like Warlock against Mr. Sinister. It's a very straightforward, quick fight, absolutely no problems here. I do have some alright boost active. Here I eat that level 1, but again, I'm not even stressed about that. I shouldn't have went as greedy as I did, but yeah, it's Warlock against Mr. Sinister. He pretty much didn't have a chance from get-go, and I still have plenty of fights to go in this war because, well, in tough wars, I like the fact that my alliance is kind of like relying on me and putting me on a lot of trickier and harder fights. I did have a mini heart attack here because we could see that after the fight, I got stuck on that victory screen for a while, but it's all fine. So next up is going to be Silver Surfer. And Silver Surfer is a decent placement here because every time he triggers his power Cosmic, I get 3 debuffs and he immediately goes unblockable. But Silver Surfer in himself is not really the toughest defender, especially now he has no backing from the global, well, nodes offensive tactics or defensive tactics. So I'm just going to use magic here, and I know that he's going to go unblockable when he triggers his power Cosmic, but once I will have him in power lock, the fight's going to be pretty much decided. So here he drops heavy attack, he's unblockable, and that's fine. I'm just going to wait it out for most part, or drop an intercept if I get a chance, but this definitely wasn't a fight that I was overly worried. Drops his level 1, fair enough. I punish the level 1, drop my level 2, he's power locked, I get in a sneaky intercept, I'm gonna go for another level 2. At this point the armor breaks have expired, so he's not unblockable anymore, and the fight is well in control here. I'm just gonna go for another level 2 that does decent damage and gives me a lot of power back, and once more, and jobs a good one. Now the next fight's actually quite interesting, that Immortal Abomination fight. And at this point in war, you can see that we were slightly ahead in exploration, but we were 1 death behind. So it's as close as it can get. And I have Immortal Abomination to deal on that Pathfinder double determination ebb and flow intercept node. And Warlock would be a great option. It would be significantly trickier if he doesn't have willpower, and I actually didn't know whether he does or does not. But I also thought that I can quake the guy, especially because he's unduped. Now, the thing with Immortal Abomination is that he gets quite significant increase in his physical resistance if he has poisons active. He gets like 160 something increase in physical resistance per stack of poisons. And if he's awakened, he starts with 3. So then quaking is difficult in itself. In addition, you have ebb and flow intercept node, which you can switch off with quake, but it is a tricky affair and something you ideally wouldn't want to test. But in this case, I figured quake should have more than enough damage, especially because off screen I had respect into Suicide Masteries. Now the ideal plan was also to use the crumbling armor break debuff to help me heal constantly, but unfortunately I forgot and I accidentally switched it off because I was charging heavy when it was meant to trigger, and I will not benefit from it. But still, I activated large attack boost, large champion boost, start off with that small regen boost just to help me offset the damage, and I should be good to go. So Immortal Abomination, obviously a rank 3 6-star, quite bulky, and plus he has significantly reduced incoming damage due to that Protect node. But Quake plus Suicides plus big boosts does a lot of damage. And even going up against the stacked rank 3 6-star, we can see that a set of Aftershock charges takes him down a decent, significant amount. So this fight actually goes very comfortably. Now, I'm not going to show it all to you. I'm going to kind of speed up through it. But I do well. I don't make like any mistakes in this fight, and we can see that it's not too bad. It's definitely much quicker than the first 2 Quake fights that I had in this war, which were like nearly 4 minutes each. This one is going to be over in like 2.5 minutes, just under that. So very quick, easy, straightforward way how to deal with Immortal Abomination here is Quake. And yeah, you don't have to worry whether opponent does or doesn't have willpower, because she can get the job done quickly enough. And that's why I love her. Right, and now I do have a few more fights. I have this Apocalypse that I have to kill. It's a Legacy Alliance Apocalypse. He is a good friend of mine, by the way. We often run incursions together, and he's a very, very good player. And also a big shout out to White Mummy, for sure. He does quite a lot of graphic work for the channel. A lot of the things that you see, like the intro or that outro video and a bunch of other stuff, is made by him. So huge shout out to White Mummy as well, an awesome guy. But yeah, so this Power Focus Enhanced Special 1 Apocalypse. Now, boosted Warlock, class advantage, robot against the mutant, and the name of the game here is actually very simple. I just don't want him to throw like any special attacks, period, because with Power Focus 1 he gains very little power past 1 bar, so that means that I can effectively hit him infinitely and drop some level 1s here and there, and that takes him below a bar of power, and at that point I can already start building up to my next level 2. Obviously I do need to alternate special attacks due to the... I forgot the name of the node, but we all know the one. It has been for a while in the game. But yeah, I basically go level 2, level 1, and we can see that Apocalypse doesn't get to throw any special attacks. I just block, bait out that heavy attack, punish the heavy, and then power drain him periodically with my level 1s, and the fight's well in control. So barely a minute has passed. Apocalypse is already at 20% health. Feel ever so comfortable. Vast majority of the health that I did lose to recall, which is fair enough, but we can see that he's at 10%. This is the last fight I'm using Warlock in, so again, Hakuna Matata, easy life. And Apocalypse just gets battered. I don't think this is like a very good node to place Apocalypse. Apocalypse arguably is the hottest, hardest defender currently due to Protect and his animations and everything else. And yeah, definitely isn't the hardest place where I have fought the guy, or I have seen him being fought. Right, then now I have Sorcerer Supreme on this aspect of evolution, increased power gain, mini, where I'm going to use magic and a power start 1 boost, and the plan's again very simple, just get to level 2 as quickly as I can, power lock, and happy days. Now, then my teammate, as you guys can probably already see, applied Mr. Fantastic pre-fight abilities, which will dampen her power gain and defensive power rate. Both are very important and will help me a lot. So that was very, very useful indeed. Now I do replace some of the boosts. I apply Mystic boosts. And again, this is a very, very hard, close war. Currently we're 1 death behind, but anything can happen. And yeah, so I definitely do not want to mess up now. Now then not accidentally, but unfortunately triggered Dexterity, so she actually gained some power, and those Mr. Fantastic pre-fight buffs definitely came in handy. But yeah, now I have gotten my level 2s in, and I still have the Mr. Fantastic pre-fights active. So all is going absolutely wonderful. No issues here, just again playing very safely. Parrying mostly, do not want to do too many intercepts. I am losing some health, but that's not too important. I have more than enough health left to finish out the fight, and this is the last fight of the war for me. So, yeah, who cares what health I finish, so long as I finish. And here is a nice big level 2. She's at like 4%, 1 combo, and job's a good one. Right, very, very long lines were thus far, and sorry for keeping you guys so, so long in this video. But here's the situation. The war was at 2-3 at this point. So we had 3 fights left, including the Modok boss, and they had 8. Unfortunately, and this was like the first time ever, our guy who usually takes down Modok boss died. And he died twice. So you can see we went from 3 deaths to 5 deaths. And we already had the feeling that we had lost the war, so we didn't make much of the guy, unfortunately, not getting that boss solo in. But then, later on, they actually died twice. And this just always shows that you never know what's going to happen. Because had we soloed that boss, or even had it just been 1 death, it would have been a tie. But unfortunately, we did lose to New Nation, and I definitely must say that New Nation has been very, very impressive this season. And ASR, well, let's face it, we're not having the best season. Our death counts, I believe, have gone up since the last season. Possibly it's something also to do with the change in meta, because Stubborn's not a thing anymore, and we all were very comfortable with Stubborn. But yeah, so we did unfortunately lose against New Nation, who are, I believe, in a prime place now to grab the title of Season 24. So best of luck to them. Best of luck of everybody else. But yeah, this means ASR currently has lost 2 wars and is not likely in top 3 running anymore. But you never know. We're still obviously going to try our hardest till the end of the season, and we're going to try and do better the next season. As frustrating as things like this are, you just need to put faith in your officers and believe that they know what to do in order to get things going better again. But that is it for today's war. Very, very long, but also, in my opinion, exciting war. Definitely a lot of fights. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. And if you did, hit that like button, hit that sub button, hit all the buttons. I'm going to catch you guys soon. See ya. Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information about